I did a poll on my Facebook group asking parents a couple of questions, like what's bugging you most, or even what's making you hesitate about unschooling. Screen time, getting into college, making friends, all those typical worries paled to the fear, what if I fail? Yeah. Worrying about failing our kids. It's universal. It's not just for unschoolers. Every parent at some point worries about failing their children. It starts when they're babies and we're unsure of what to do, and we get advice from family and friends and other parents, and slowly we find our footing. We begin to carve out our own path in parenting, sometimes making choices that are different from how we were raised. We begin seeking out a more connected, gentle approach, and over time, we make small changes that reflect how we want to be with our kids. And the school years arrive, and we either try to make the traditional system work or we come to a crossroads. If we reach that fork in the road and consider something as unconventional as unschooling, the worries tend to intensify. That fear of doing it right grows louder, and it's easy to understand why. Stepping into the unknown adds this whole new layer of uncertainty. It can feel like you're charting a whole new territory with no clear map. We have a lack of familiar road signs, and it makes the fear of doing it wrong louder. We've been taught to conform, to follow the system, and to trust that it knows best, or at least knows better than we do. So when we step away from it, it's no surprise that we get panicky and fear that we're going to fail our kids. Here's the good news. Your worry comes from a place of love. If it didn't, you'd opt for the free childcare and certainly wouldn't prioritize the parent-child relationship the way unschoolers do. It's actually a pretty long list, the difference between the non-caring parent and you. The fact that you're concerned shows just how deeply you care about your child's future. Schooling or not, no parent has all the answers. And the world is a much different place from when we were kids. But by tuning into your child's needs, staying open to learning together, and trusting yourself to pivot when necessary, you're already doing something powerful. You're individualizing your child's education in a way that traditional systems often can't. And you're not alone. It's part of this journey for all parents. But remember, stepping outside the norm doesn't mean stepping away from what's best for your child. It just means that you're finding a new, more personalized path for them and for your family. If you're new to the podcast, welcome. I'm Sue Patterson, your host here, and at All Things Unschooling Mom to Mom. My own 3 kids are grown, and I want to share what I've learned, what worked and what didn't. I want to help you create an individualized approach for your kids and your family. I have all kinds of tools to do this, guides, ebooks, courses, and even a membership where you can access other parents too. We do group coaching calls twice a week together, and you have resources to do all of this. I'm happy to help you figure this all out. Okay, so as I was thinking about this so common worry, what if I fail? I started jotting down things I'd want to tell you if you were sitting here with me. So pour yourself a cup of whatever and visualize me right there sitting with you. First, I want to tell you that your fears are valid and natural. Parents often feel anxious because unschooling is unfamiliar, and the responsibility of it all can feel daunting. When I first started, it helped to pick the brains of as many parents as I could find doing this unconventional approach. We didn't have as much information as you do now, but that could be a double-edged sword too, right? Too much information, and what's true and what isn't, and I get it. This has to add to the worry too. But it's part of finding your way and learning how to be a critical thinker yourself. That's why I always encourage people to tap into their local unschooling community or online if you can't find one. Listen to the way other parents approach this. Not to copy it, but to see what pieces resonate, what pieces mean you should look into it a little bit more, what would fit with your family, what wouldn't fit with your family. But another thing I want to remind you that while traditional schooling may feel familiar and structured, doesn't necessarily offer any kind of reassurance of success. Any kids struggle in a one-size-fits-all system. You know that, which often prioritizes standardized testing over individualized growth. Sometimes our fears have tapped into myths about unschooling. Maybe you worry that unschooled kids won't learn enough or they won't be prepared for the real world. And that's where you have to start thinking about what's true and what's just not. Unschooling isn't new. My own kids are in their 30s, and I've known hundreds personally, and thousands are out in the world in careers and paths that they've carved. Doors didn't close for them because they were prioritizing their interests. They were moving in a direction that fit them. Put links in the show notes for more information about getting into college and grown unschoolers if that would help you. Remind yourself that unschooling allows you to easily adjust your approach to fit your child's changing needs, interests, and learning pace. You're never locked into a rigid system where you have to get approval and changes roll through slowly. You can pivot as needed. Sometimes we worry that we're going to make mistakes. And these mistakes really are in air quotes. They're not failures. They're opportunities to learn and adjust. You have room to grow and evolve. There's no rigid syllabus for you to mess up. You lean in towards your child and you see what the next step needs to be. This is about improving the communication between the two of you, getting to the heart of what they need, learning to observe better, to listen better, and then finding the resources to help them have that full, rich life. That's where the learning happens. You don't have to know everything or be the expert on every subject. You can learn right alongside them using the resources and the experts that are readily available online and out in the world. You just need to be open to learning together. As an unschooling parent, you're going to learn how to be more resourceful and how to build your network of helpful people. You don't need to stress about finding the right curriculum. You're looking at it. Your child is your living, breathing curriculum. They'll show you what interests them, what they're curious about, and then that's the direction that you move. As you learn more, you'll see that subjects do weave through those interests that they're talking about, as well as the cool things that you find to add and make it this fuller, richer life for them. I have so many resources to help you do all these things and overcome your fears about not being enough. I even have an unschooling guide called Am I Doing Enough? Maybe that would be helpful. Remember, you don't have to do this by yourself. You can join us in the membership group where I help parents build their own stronger foundation. I'm in there creating new resources all the time to help parents tackle their worries head on and overcome their fears. I can show you how to create a customized plan that will work for you and your kids. Being part of a supportive community, connecting with others, and accessing all these tools, you'll find that your path becomes clear and your fears fade away even faster. So think about it. Remember that podcast listeners can skip the sign-up fee and just jump right in. I'll put your special link in the show notes, or you can go to the webpage link, unschoolingmom2mom.com/podcast-friends. Hopefully this has been helpful. I have a list of podcast topics that I'm ready to dive into now. If you have some ideas that you would like to hear me talk more about, email me at coaching@suepatterson.com or leave a comment below and I'll answer you. Take care and happy unschooling.